the ultimate fall from grace. This is an absolutely seismic and unprecedented move by the king, a defining moment in his reign, and he hopes that this is going to be his last move on the matter. He has taken firm and decisive action against his younger brother. Ultimately, he has put the crown, the institution of monarchy, above blood ties, and he has public and political support to do that. He could not be seen any longer to be out of touch with the public mood and with public opinion. And I think by cutting Andrew off, effectively sending him into exile, banishing him to Sandringham, he has said enough is enough. The statement that was put out by Buckingham Palace could not have been stronger. I don't think the king could have gone any further on this. And it was very, very clear that this is the result of weeks now of negotiations, but a desire to do something concrete and definitive and decisive, to say that Andrew is no longer a prince, which is something we thought was not going to happen. We knew that he could be stripped of his dukedom, but had been told that the prince title was his birthright. No more. He is simply Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. The key lines for me in this were, notwithstanding the fact that the Duke denies the allegations against him, he has made serious lapses of judgment, errors of judgment. What they're saying is, fine, Andrew says he denies all of these allegations, but still his behaviour cannot be tolerated. He can no longer be allowed to tarnish and stain the reputation of the monarchy, and that is what he has done. The other crucial line for me was the final line in the statement, which was that their majesties wanted it to be known that their thoughts are, and always have been, with the victims of sexual abuse. Now, clearly, Queen Camilla has had a hand in this. She is a very powerful and dedicated campaigner on the issue of domestic violence, rape, and an advocate for survivors and victims of sexual violence. And for her, this whole saga will have been very, very difficult and made her very uncomfortable and angry indeed. And I think we hear that coming out. This is a monumental, huge decision for the king to have made. He is a kind man. He is a man who doesn't relish confrontation or conflict. He has tried to pull all of the levers at his disposal over recent years and appeal to his brother's better nature to read the room, do the right thing, and go quietly, leave Royal Lodge. That all failed. And ultimately, as Andrew dug his heels in more and more, and the scandal kept getting darker and deeper, he had to take this seismic action. A difficult one for a brother to cut his younger brother off. A very difficult decision, but we've seen it before, and ultimately the crown, the institution of the monarchy, has to come first above those blood ties. And he's not cutting off those blood ties altogether. He is stripping Andrew of his style as prince, his title, the Duke of York. He is removing the honours from him, and he will leave Royal Lodge. But he will still be supported by his brother, the king. He will be given private accommodation on the Sandringham estate and a privately funded pension funded by the king. And I think they do recognise that, as well as the public duty and having to deal with this and sever all public ties with Andrew, they do still have a duty of care to him and the York family as a whole and as a family. And that is what we're seeing going on behind the scenes privately. I think this scandal around Andrew and the constant allegations and the constant errors of judgment that he has made in the friends and associates that he has kept, the way in which he has conducted his business dealings, and the allegations, the most serious of allegations made against him by Virginia Giuffre. This whole scandal puts into perspective, really, the Harry and Meghan issue. I mean, that is nothing compared to the damage that has been done by Andrew. And actually, when you look at it, Harry and Meghan had to leave. They moved to California. They no longer use their HRH titles. Andrew has been there clinging on in Royal Lodge despite everything that has been thrown at him. And the public have had enough. And I think for the king, this has certainly overshadowed these first years of his reign. You only have to look this week at his visit to Lichfield Cathedral and the heckling by an anti-monarchy campaigner, a member of the Republic group, but someone who spoke for the nation when he asked, how long have you known about Andrew and Epstein? Are the royal family covering up for Andrew? There was a huge amount of anger, and this really did threaten the monarchy. The monarchy is only there with public support, and the monarchy only has public support if it remains relevant. It was starting to look very, very out of touch with the public mood and public opinion. And I think this has been a huge, huge crisis for the king. And he had to take that action and be seen to be acting swiftly and in a decisive manner. So we had always anticipated that in order for Andrew to be stripped of his titles, it would have to go through Parliament. There would be an Act of Parliament required to do that. Buckingham Palace had made clear that the king was conscious not to be taking up valuable parliamentary time. And they found a workaround. So over the course of the past few weeks, there have been some very, very high-level discussions going on between officials within the palace, between the senior royals, and between the government as well, and trying to find a way. And they've managed to do this within royal prerogative. So the king has requested the Lord Chancellor to remove the Dukedom of York from the peerage roll. Ultimately, that has avoided this having to go through Parliament. As Buckingham Palace says, it means they don't have to waste parliamentary time, but it does also avoid some pretty excruciating and embarrassing debate taking place in Parliament about the Duke of York, former Duke of York, former Prince Andrew, now just Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, which we know that the Lib Dems in particular had been clamouring for, wanting to use their opposition day debate to criticise the royal family, something that is not allowed apart from in that one convention.